With the recent release of Breaking Benjamin's new single and just Breaking Benjamin as a band, it got me thinking of consistent bands. Bands that never particularly go out of their way to redefine the wheel, to change up their style at all, and most of the time, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, whenever they release new material, you know what to expect a little bit. For people that don't like the project, they are never gonna like the project because they're always gonna stay in their own lane, and for people who really enjoy their project, they're always gonna have some good eating whenever a new album or single comes out. Now, of course, you run the risk of being stale or being overly cumbersome. I think a lot of slam metal bands and modern OSDM revival bands can kind of fall into this trap, but bands like Breaking Benjamin, Nile to some degree, of course Cannibal Corpse, and a lot of death metal bands for that matter, really do make their whole mark being, you know what you're gonna get, you know it's gonna be high quality, and is there something to be said about getting your shit down to a T so perfectly that you kind of can't have a candle be held to you? I personally think so, because as much as I love experimental music and I'm always excited for a project that does something I've never particularly heard before, it's always very intriguing when there's something that's cutting edge, boundary pushing. You can see the influence that it's going to have for years to come, and it's going to be one of the most unique records of the year. There is something to be said about getting so damn efficient at one thing that no one is close to your level. Now, this is also very much helped if you have a signature style that is unique to you, and that's in my opinion the diverging point in why a lot of OSDM revival bands and slam metal bands get the reputation of being kind of stale and cookie cutter, one-dimensional. People get bored of them because they don't change up their style. What exactly is the difference between those projects and a project like Cannibal Corpse or Breaking Benjamin? I personally think it has something to do with they scratch a certain itch that no one else is able to scratch. No one really sounds like Corpse Grinder. There's a lot of people who try to sound like Corpse Grinder, but the hollowness and the way that he produces his vocals is very unique for death metal. Breaking Benjamin, while they do fall in line with a post-grunge and alt-metal band of the 2000s, you immediately know Benjamin Burnley's vocals. You immediately know the way that they write their melodies and their choruses. It is very Breaking Benjamin-ish, so much so that when Motionless in White started sounding like them, people immediately said, yeah, this sounds like Breaking Benjamin. So if you just want to keep making the same material, but you don't necessarily sound that unique, and you do blend in with other bands that can scratch a certain itch, you're probably going to run into the issue and have a lot more problems of consistency leading you to not getting much exposure, or people becoming bored of you, people saying that you are a little bit stale, because it's not like they can't get what you're serving from a whole host of other bands that sound similar to you, whereas these bands that are able to pride themselves on never really changing their formula, they are in micro ways, they're fine tweaking it and making sure that they just iron out all the little details to be as perfect at what they do as they are. But the fact that they are the project that they are and no one can scratch that itch is always going to be the major reason that they can get away with not being that experimental and not reinventing the wheel, because they don't have to. And a lot of times these bands are also ones that have larger fan bases, so they can sustain not doing anything brand spanking new because they have a very well established fan base that come to them for that specific style or sound, so they could risk alienating their fans, making them disenfranchised if they were to experiment a ton in their style. What are your guys' opinions of this topic? You can let me know down in the comment section below your opinions of it, agree or disagree, there is no wrong answer. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is, my name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.